Hello and welcome to A Fitbit by a Bostonian and a Brit, where we take a fitness topic, talk about it, and have lots of fun while doing so.
And I'm your host, Chris Litton.
Okay, so for this first episode, what I wanted to do right out of the gate is just give you a sense of why I would even choose these two as co-hosts. They're fun people for sure, but the other thing that I really appreciate about both of them is they've both experienced some serious physical challenges, huge lists, both of them. Yet neither of them are defined by their lists. So initially, let's just kind of get a sense of what I'm talking about. So Marge, when we look at your list, what are the different things that you're kind of dealing with or experiencing in a given day?
Okay, everybody talks about they have a pain threshold or whatever. I have a 10-inch rod in my back. I have one kidney. I have all this stuff. But to me, that's just who I am. That's part of me. Like you have a nose, you have two eyes, whatever. It's just part of who I am. And if I, succumb to it every day, people always talk about pain thresholds, pain levels, on a scale of 1 to 10. I wake up with a 4 every day. That's just part of my day, like you brush your teeth. But I kind of ignore it because that's just who I am. That's what I have. But I don't let it own me because I can't. I have to do what I have to do. I have to work out with Body Basics every day because if I didn't, I know the trouble I really would be in. Like when I go to an orthopedist or whatever, and they look at me, they say, well, you shouldn't even be upright, let alone doing what you do. But I do what I do, especially at Body Basics, because if I didn't, I would be in a wheelchair. That was my prognosis. When I first went to had my surgery, my prognosis was when I was in my 40s,
What was your surgery,
I'd be in a
Marge?
wheelchair.
So that
I don't want to be in a wheelchair. That's kind of why I do what I do.
Marge,
yeah.
What was your surgery so that people know what you're talking about?
I had my spine fused, which means all my vertebrae are now one big piece of bone. So they fused me from T3, was my thoracic vertebrae, to L3. So I'm one big bone, basically. So I can't, when you do cat cows in the gym, in my mind, I'm doing a cat cow, but I'm really not doing a cat cow because nothing bends. But I don't look at it that way. I just look like I do what I do because I can do it,
Marny,
so,
what with you too, like the same, like you've got a list of your own. What are some of the things that you're dealing with in a given day?
Well, I've had a couple of back surgeries. The first one I had was pretty successful. It was the good old L5S1 vertebra and then I fell over and I smashed it again. So
were you drunk?
Well, unfortunately not. No, I was stone cold sober. And I remember I went into hospital and a funny thing happened. The pain totally went. Had no pain at all. And the nurse came in, she said to me, have you thought about going to the gym instead of having surgery? And I said, oh, don't talk rubbish. Of course, that I can't go to the gym. And the surgeon came in and he said, can you stand on your tiptoes? And I said, yes. And sure enough, I did. And he said, I'm not operating on you, go. So I went out. The minute I left the hospital, I was in the most excruciating pain. Obviously, fear and adrenaline had set in, and I didn't want any more surgery. Needless to say, I had a second surgery. And I used to wake up every morning thinking, how much longer have I got to live? Because I can't stand living like this.
Yep.
I couldn't, every move I made, the muscles tensed up. And I'm sure a lot of it was because I expected them to. I expected it to hurt and I didn't want to keep taking painkillers. And I was frightened. And I didn't have, I was in England then, so I didn't have a gym, I didn't have Body Basics. And then we came to America and I was really lucky. Somebody said to me, a friend of mine jumped off a rock in Hawaii, hit another rock and was paralyzed. Started going to a gym and now she can walk. And I thought, maybe I'll try that. And I did. And, like Marge said, you wake up, you're not going to recover from back surgery totally. It's always going to come back. And if you overdo things, it's going to haunt you. And I went to England a couple of years ago, Chris knows this, and I didn't get up the whole flight. I just sat. And when I got to England, I got a really bad chest infection, so I lay in bed for nearly 2 weeks. And then when I got up, I sat sideways to watch TV. I ended up in the hospital. I couldn't move. And when I came back, I still couldn't move. And Chris said, you know, I went to see Chris, and he said, raise your leg. And nothing happened. He said, well, are you trying? I, yes, I'm trying.
Come on, I was more gentle than that.
Yeah, you weren't. You're never gentle. But, you know, I find that a challenge makes me work much harder. So if somebody says to me, no, you're not going to walk again, no, you shouldn't be working again, then I just set out to prove them wrong, because I'm a cantankerous old. Sorry, mustn't swear. I'm very cantankerous. So, you know, that's my backstory. And since then, I've had several other things. The most recent being my dog pulled me
Text
over.
Amy, she's been texting me.
Smashed my wrist in 6 places, and I had surgery. You know, you get over it. And if you can't work one part of your body, you work another part. And that's what keeps you going.
Marge, same for you. Like when Marny's saying, if you've got something going on in one part of the body, you figure out what you can do with the other part. What are your thoughts on, you know, how you're processing in a given day and so forth?
What I always say is, if I wake up one morning and I don't have pain somewhere, I have to be dead. So, I mean, there's always something going on in my body somewhere. I mean, that's just a given. But I just think it's, you know, that old expression, cliches become cliches because they're true. The more, if you don't move, if you stop moving, you're dead. You know, and that's what it's all about. Now, I go to the gym on days, and you know this for a fact, that I'm in so much pain, I can literally barely walk. But the bottom line is, so I don't work out at 100%, maybe I work out at 50%, but I'm still doing something. Your natural tendency when you're in pain, if you move your arm to here and it starts to hurt, you stop moving. But that's really counterproductive. It's counterintuitive. You got to keep moving. The worst thing you can do when something hurts is to not move that part. But you got to keep moving. And that's really what I try to do every day, even though I could be in excruciating pain. And I've had, up until about 2 weeks ago, I had pain that was almost debilitating. But you know what? I kept moving. We worked through it. And eventually it gets better. There's always an end of a tunnel. You know, it beats the alternative. And I just, you know, I had to lay flat in my back for 3 months when I had my back surgery. 3 months. That was a long time. I don't ever want that to happen again. So, you know, it's just a matter of perspective. If you don't want to be down here, you want to stand up, you want to be upright, you want to get up. And it's really just a matter of how you look at things. I choose not to be bedridden. I choose not to be defined by the fact that I had one kidney and I have, you know, all this stuff going on. Who cares? I mean, people say, how do you get by with just one kidney? How do you get by with, I don't think about it anymore. You can't be defined by all the stuff. You know, I had shoulder surgery, I had this done, I had that. First of all, no one really cares. You know, when you talk to people, they don't really care about all your problems or whatever. It's the end result. And I just feel that the more you do, the more you can do. The less you do, the less it gets done. So
that's a really good statement right there. The more you do, the more you can do.
That's the thing.
And equally too, like Marny, you experienced when you've had, I mean, a few times where you haven't been able to do, and you find that when you're able to do that little bit, you're able to do a little bit more and so on, right?
Yeah, you build on it and it gives you the confidence. And
right.
I mean, I know that just the smallest adjustment, if you're working out and you're in pain and you make the tiniest adjustment, it can really make that pain go away.
Doesn't it? It's just sit a little differently.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is you need to find somebody that you've got total confidence in, that if they say, yeah, if you do this, it will really help. Do I sound American yet?
No,
yeah, not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
It's.
I thought I was kind of picking up the accent.
No, I haven't heard an okie dokie or a yeehaw yet.
Okay.
She still says lovely.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing. You've got to have confidence within yourself, and also you've got to have somebody that will help you when you run into problems.
So
Yeah, I just,
both of you, I'd like to thank you for the time today and just kind of sharing as you have about how much ailments don't have to define who you are. That's the
that's my
clear
bottom
message
line.
that I'm hearing from both of you is it's about moving forward. It's not about stepping back. It's continuing to carry forward. And I'd just like to share with our audience that listen to us today that we will be continuing to pick a fitness topic from this point forward, and we will just talk it up and we'll just continue to have a good time doing it. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time for another episode of A Fitbit with a Bostonian and a Brit.
We're excited to see you every week for our show, A Fitbit with a Bostonian and a Brit. Thank you.